Hey guys, thank you so much and welcome to the Game Your Future podcast. I am Daniel and I have a special guest for you guys today. This is Ryan Eli Salter. Ryan is a hospitality entrepreneur and he's going to talk to us about hospitality, being an entrepreneur and being a gamer. So gosh, Ryan, thanks so much and welcome. How are you?
I'm good, Dan. How you doing?
Doing all right. Just living the dream, man. Absolutely. So I hear so you are both a gamer and an entrepreneur, and I
Yes.
love this for this kind of podcast, just understanding kind of how gamers are successful right out in the world. So tell us a little bit about both your gaming journey and the hospitality entrepreneur. Let's start with your gaming background first. So like, how long have you played? What do
Oh,
you enjoy?
gosh, since I was like 4 years old. I don't want to date myself because I'll be 40 next year, but I would have to go back to the original Nintendo,
Mhm.
with playing Duck Hunt and Mario, graduating to the Super Nintendo, to GameCube, to PlayStation, to N64, to PS2, Dreamcast. You name the system, I most likely have played it or owned it. So I can probably name every system out there that I've owned and probably have a collection of over 146 games, from my collection from my childhood until now. Like I'm an avid gamer.
I love that. That's and for those that have watched before, just to give you mine, Ryan, is that yeah, so very similar story, right? And yes, not to date ourselves. But yeah, so this is starting with I'll say slightly different is yeah, I actually started with the the Atari 5000, what is it, 5400?
It was 5400. Yeah, my uncle had that. Yeah,
Yeah.
play at his
I
house.
had that for like a brief whiff of a time when I was super young, and then of course but we definitely got the Super Nintendo. So like I definitely feel more the Nintendo generation, but there was a brief whisper of the Atari too.
And games were a
Um,
lot harder back then. I say kids have a lot easier these days. You can save. You don't have to worry about save points anymore. You can start and go. Like back then, it's like not now, mom. I'm almost finished with this level, and they shut it off, and you got to play Mario right from the first level again, and you almost get there. Like it's a whole different world these days.
yeah, the world of auto saving and checkpoints is like yeah,
Yes.
that's not how it was back then. Absolutely. So yeah, I love the story history, and so you still play, I guess, when you can now still as well, right? So still very much a
Yes.
gamer.
Yeah, I'm very much a gamer, and I think I've changed the way like the games I play. I'm still an avid RPG enthusiast
Mhm.
when I can. It's not there's too many AAA RPGs out there, but I mean my current consoles are the Switch, the Xbox One. I have two Xbox Ones actually, one for my office and one for my house, and
Nice.
the PS5. I'm thinking about just getting a second PS5 because Marvel Rivals has taken over my life, and I've had a chance to recommit to my relationship in 2 weeks.
There you go. Oh, too good. That's what. Yeah, I've tried not to get into Marvel Rivals because I know it would suck my time away.
It's a drug.
I
It's
did
a drug.
played the
It's a good
crap out
drug.
of Overwatch, so I was like, yep, this will be
Oh, yeah. It's very
this
much
will be
similar,
right
but this
now.
one's free, and the
And
thing
it's
is, they give
free.
you
And it's
money.
like,
They're
so why not do it? I'm like, oh, it's gonna suck me in. Yeah.
like, hey, it's just $5 a month, and we give you free stuff all the time. I'm like, okay, here you go. Take my
I'm
money.
like, sure.
New skins, sure. You got it for penny, finally. All right, here's $20.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, absolutely hardcore. Love the gaming aspect. So whether we call hardcore or casual, but seasoned, have played a lot of games,
Yes.
and I love the RPG fandom. So I think you can see some of my stuff too in the paraphernalia. There is some Final Fantasy stuff of my own that I love. That's a Bahamut figurine behind me, if you can tell. Um, Absolutely love the RPGs and stuff. So I think yeah, we're definitely on the level as far as just understanding and loving both the RPGs and just like the generations of video games. So now to switch gears to say like, okay, you're a hospitality entrepreneur.
Yes.
Tell us about that. What does that mean, and how did you get into that?
So a lot of people say restaurateur or entrepreneurs who work in the restaurant space. I kind of go beyond that because I own three restaurants, or I say co-own. Also own a catering company that's also within a hotel. So I do a lot of operations with that as well, with also a venue space. So there's a lot of many different facets of hospitality. So I say hospitality entrepreneur. One of my brands that I work with two other partners is called Breadless. It's a low carb, gluten free eatery that we focus on high impact foods. So we wrap our sandwiches in dark leafy greens like romaine, Swiss chard, and collard greens. And we use like green bowls. We use cauliflower rice, brown rice. So everything that makes you do like great food, but when you eat it, you're not weighed down. We have two locations, one in downtown Detroit, right by the riverfront, and another in the suburbs of Rochester Hills. And we have outposts or small commissaries in the Comerica Stadium where the Tigers play, We're going to be in Fort Field for this season with two locations in there. So I would say it's a lot of kids, I should say, like two kids and you have the grandchildren as well.
Mhm.
And my other restaurant is called Salt and Co. My last name is Salter, so people wonder where you get Salt and Co. from. And it's a full service restaurant and bar located in Southfield, about 10 minutes outside of the city of Detroit. And we also have a catering company that's been around for about 7 years. The restaurant itself has been open for 2 years now, and we have an event space called the Atrium in the Radisson Hotel. But with Salt and Co. as a catering company, we've done a lot of work with a lot of celebrities that come to the city. We do a lot of writers for them, which are contracts that the promoters have to execute to make sure the talent is coming in and satisfied. So we've done work for Diana Ross, Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight, TLC, Maxwell, Joe Levert, Kenny G. He's actually a really nice guy.
Nice.
Jennifer Hudson, and Angie Stone, to name a few. So we've been very blessed to have a full story career, just moving into Detroit about 10 years ago and building these brands.
That's fantastic. Wow. That's quite the journey too. That's oh
Yes.
gosh. And just the kind of the star power behind that too is just really cool, really fun. So so I wanted to get I guess the question I'll ask specifically on the beginning of it. So like
Mhm.
so I guess what was the drive? What was the impetus to say I'm going to do this. I'm going to own restaurants, right?
Oh, what was the catalyst? I would say it started many years ago, probably about 20 years ago while I was in college and I was in Australia. And I learned how to cook during that time because food, as they say, hella expensive during that time. And I recognized I had to start cooking on my own while I'm abroad to make ends meet. And that kind of got the culinary bug into me. But I still stayed in court. I still got my degree, was not culinary, and created a brand called The Bachelor Chef. And it was basically teaching people like me how to cook. So I did parties in New York City. Then I did a lot of private chef services for a lot of celebrities in New York City. One was actually Carmelo Anthony and Lala Anthony. I did stuff with Vivica Fox as well while I was in the city, Redman and Method Man. So just a few. At that time, I got an internship, or I say a mentorship, with one of my good friends that became a good friend of mine for a place called Corner Social, which is a really big bar in Harlem. And they were opening a new location called Angel of Harlem. So at that point, I was like, I really want to open a restaurant. I was getting my degree in culinary entrepreneurship. And I was still working at FCA, Fiat Chrysler of America, and at the time became Stellantis when I left. And while I was moving automotive, and I was working in automotive and working in culinary, and that's such an odd pairing of the
An
two.
interesting combo, yeah.
Yes, but a lot of stuff that I learned in automotive taught me a lot what to do in this field because one thing in automotive, things always go wrong. Like nothing's ever smooth. You always get calls with problems. And I think in hospitality, there's always so many dynamics when you're dealing with people that there's never a dull day. Anybody I talk to that have restaurants or own a catering service, there's always a story. The bear, we can't watch it. It's too traumatic. But getting
I
back to
get
the
that.
story about how I got the bug, about 2017, I was living in Detroit for about a year and a half at that point, and I recognized that I wanted a major shift. And I said, if I can't leave my career in automotive, I should start my own. And at that time, I was already having a story career with being a celebrity chef in Detroit, working with different celebrities with my catering company. I decided to embark into hospitality full time. And I just quit my job without a job in mind. And I just started bartending until I got the idea that would come to me. And eventually, Salt and Co. as the brand name and what I wanted to be about came into my mind. And I started slowly building that up.
That's fantastic. Wow. So it was starting. So a lot of things to unpack here because I love this story because you were in the automotive industry. That was kind of like
Yes.
call it the stable job, I guess.
It was
That was
it
the
was stable,
paycheck,
very
right?
stable, paid
Yeah.
very well. I got a
Right. And
free
that's it's
car, free gas, free insurance, a per diem every day 'cause I was a manager. It was
oh
amazing.
man,
It was stressful, but
see, that
amazing.
so taking that leap, right? And this, so I think there might be some people, and maybe some people in your own life that maybe said like you're crazy for quitting that and starting your own thing. Was that kind of the journey? Like what happened?
A little bit, but ironically, it wasn't that bad because all my family members are entrepreneurs, especially on my father's side. So I actually called all of them. I called my dad, my uncle, and my aunts, and I was freaking out. I said, "Hey, I may be quitting my job. I may be doing this," and I said, "Do you think I can do it?" And they're like, "Well, that's not the question. You definitely can do it. We all can do anything." They're like, "We trust you. We're talented individuals. You're a talented member of the family. You're smart." But here's the reality of entrepreneurship. You need a backup, you need a job, you need to build this while you're doing your job. Like we know you're doing this working full time, making good money, but now you're not going to have anything to support your income. So what are your plans for that? And so they kind of set me down, all help me with a blueprint of how to stabilize myself while I work towards this dream until the dream can stabilize me.
Wow.
So I
Yeah,
get
that's
support. Not
powerful
everybody
stuff
has
right
that.
there. That's good because I think there's so many people that don't have that kind of a support system, or whether it's the family or kind of the blueprint to say like, hey, this is how you start a business, or this is what you should look for, and let's because there's a lot of people that have maybe the bug, right? Like,
Yep,
that might catch it and be like, oh, I would, it'd be really cool to start something myself, right? And but they look at it and say like, I don't even know where to start. So I don't know if you can even help some of those that might be interested to say like I'm sure there's definitely some gamers, that used to be like ourselves, right? That maybe they're sitting in the corporate space and it's usually either they're looking to move up or they're looking to move out, right? It's
very
it's
much so.
because it's like, all right, I'm either not getting the impact or the income that I'm looking for. I got to do something. So for those, like yourself that kind of jump and it's so funny talking to you about this because like I had a similar story, right? Working in corporate America, and it's like, all right, I need to change. And so I need to do something different. And so I ended up kind of jumping ship too to start kind of my own thing. And so it's just I love the parallels. So, but just kind of jumping out there, gosh, that sounds scary, right?
It
There's so many people
was.
that are like, I don't want, like my income's just gone. It's like now it's completely on me to do everything. Like, so what kind of advice would you have to somebody that's still in the corporate space that's like, do I do this? Do I not?
So one of the best pieces of advice I got was from my aunt, and she told me, take time for yourself when you leave, because the last bit of time you're going to have for yourself in a very long time. And so the day I quit, I flew back to New York to see my family and friends, tell them what I did. And I probably took about 3 or 4 weeks off of just doing nothing, just painting, playing video games, just enjoying my life. I had money saved up for that and taking quote unquote a mini vacation, just give myself time to figure things out, or allow myself time. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew it had to be food related. I knew the building blocks towards it, but not just jumping in right away. That allowed me the grace and the clarity to actually be more aware and honestly more grounded for the role I want to take into.
Okay, so really just kind of centering yourself around that too, because
Yes,
that's yeah, that because I could see because at that point, like okay, well, you don't have the income supporting you, so it is almost it's kind of stressful sometimes, right?
very stressful.
So it's like, all right, well, so taking that time for yourself to really get your mind right and getting in the right mindset, and it's also I like that it's a kind of like a clear break, right, between
It is.
like here's the corporate and now and like instead of just instantly starting and trying to do something, it's like, all right, here's kind of the buffer of just say like, all right, that's the old me. This is my new identity. I'm an
Yes.
entrepreneur. I'm doing this.
Because
And
you're quitting, like you're leaving. You know there's gonna be a break. It's not like you're getting fired and say, "What do I do now? I guess I'll jump into entrepreneurship." You know the shift is coming, so during that shift, it could be more of a transition than just a hard break. But I will say, if you are planning to leave, give yourself a timeline. For me, I knew on June 1st, 2017, I was gonna give my final notice. So I had that decision made from February on that I was gonna do my job, do the best I can. But June 1st, I was going to leave. Hell or high water, doesn't matter. That was my decision. So I felt more planted in my decision because I gave it time before that as well. So don't just have a bad day and say, I quit. Those are the worst times to figure things out. I came in with full clarity and then as I said 3 or 4 weeks and then I just figured some odd jobs to build my income while to give myself time to build up what I have now.
okay, so and I do like clarity too, because and there's a great quote, clarity is power.
It
Right.
is.
And it truly is because like if I've noticed this in my own life and you can, let me know your kind of experience where like there's, I'll say I've tended in the past to be very much a procrastinator, right? It's like, oh, I'll get to it eventually. But as soon as it's clear what needs to be done, then it's like, oh, well, then nothing can stop me. It's just like bam, 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 and then you just knock it out. And then the next
Yes.
plateau or the next wall you hit is like, and then I, in hindsight, realized, oh, I just wasn't clear on what to do next. It's just like, yeah, I'm just kind of floating here. It's like, and then you have the clarity of like, okay, go. Like, you just kind of
It sounds a
launch.
little bit like ADHD. Once you know what the first step you need to do and you put your mind to it, the other places, everything else falls into place.
Yep, exactly.
I'm a procrastinator by far. I know I am.
That's why I love, yeah, again, love the parallels because it's so similar. I think there's other gamers like ourselves that are like, I could do that, but I could play video games right now and just worry about that later.
And that's fine. I mean, sometimes it's a mental break. I always tell people play different games, different genres as well. So if you need a mental break, don't jump into something that's going to be a long story or a long form game, because that's how you're going to procrastinate even further. You're going to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to do this. And before you know it, 5 hours have passed. And now you're drained because you kind of invested. People don't realize you're investing into a story. You're investing a lot of time and energy for what you're building in. Play a fighter, play a shooter, play a MOBA, MOBA, that you can get in and set a time limit, set an hour, and that at the end of the hour, there's no major consequence if you just shut off.
Yeah, and that way you get that again that clear break to say like, all
Yeah,
right, here's the time because, yeah, you're right with the longer narrative, the long form content. Like, yeah, it's it's very
I
easy
love
to
it.
lose hours. Right?
It's 2 a.m. before you know it. It's like I just started and it was 3 p.m. What the hell happened?
Yeah. Yeah, and it does, and I guess it depends on the person a little bit too, because I do that with RPGs. I also do that with some of the factory building games. If you've played like Satisfactory,
Yes.
yeah, it'll be like 2, 3 a.m. before I was like, oh crap! Like, it's like no, I just need to connect the conveyor belt to one more thing, one more building, one
Or
more.
the
It's like,
tycoon games like Hospital Tycoon or Space Hospital. I
yep,
back in the day, Restaurant Tycoon and Pizza Tycoon. My dad looked at one of those games. I remember I was 10 years old, and he said, "This is stressful." He said, "This is work. Why are you playing games to work? Like, can you play something else?"
yeah, and that's what's hilarious is it, yeah, so fun to some people, work to another, right? Because that's one of the things I like to ask. It's like, so why do we play games? And so I'll ask you, right, why do you play games?
That's a great question. I can't answer succinctly why I play games because there's a multitude of reasons. One, it's a great stress reliever. Two, it's some of the greatest forms of entertainment. My dad is a gamer as well. So is my uncle and my cousins. And my uncle, who's a strong economist, he says the best buck you have are investing into entertainment. He said you spend 50 bucks or 60 bucks nowadays, and you can still play that game for 80 to 100 hours. So you go to the movies, you go out to eat, you do something else, and that money's gone. That experience is gone. But this game, you can replay it, you can find some other ways to do it. You can always re-entertain yourself. And I always find that to be very stimulating for myself. But yeah, I love games for many reasons.
I love, and I love the economical reason too, because
Yeah,
so many people think that it's like, oh my gosh, you're spending so much money on games. It's like, yeah, but you
you're really
turn it
not.
on and you're like, well, how much do you spend on like going to the movies, going out to dinner, going out to this, and it's just like you realize that gaming, like while some, like, oh, the console's expensive, yeah, but the games are expensive. It's like,
The
yeah, but
last five
they're kind of
years.
more,
Yeah.
yeah, they're more like durable goods in that sense, where it's like, oh
Yes.
no, you could play them for many, many hours and then go back and play them again, right? Especially those like the RPGs. I don't know if you're, yeah, you've played like the Final Fantasy series, right?
I played almost every RPG out there. If you name it, I most likely played it.
And of course the Personas.
Yes. And I'm
Yep,
waiting for, Persona 4 revival.
yep. It's coming.
Yes.
So guys,
I
check
already
that one
beat
out.
Reload. I beat Aegis, the episode. I'm about to replay it pretty soon so I can get the full I should I go platinum on it.
Yep, there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love those. I pick RPGs as kind of like even the further example to where like, you could, if you do everything, right, you can sink easily like two, sometimes 300 hours into a game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you're
Big time.
like, all right, it's like, wow, it's like that game costs $80. I'm like, yeah, but I got 300 hours of enjoyment on it. Like,
That's all of the Game Pass for Xbox, the PlayStation Plus subscriber for PSN or Sony. Because the fact is, like, if I spend 60 bucks a year, I'm still getting free games left and right. Like, I don't even mind like jumping into like right now I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy just to kill the time. But I'm like, wow, this is actually a pretty fun game. When I purchase it at launch, no, but you know what? Now that I do know, I may get the sequel.
there you
Fun
go.
game.
Yeah.
That's an easier
So
time sink. I can stop that one when I want
yeah,
to.
that's right. I can always stop when I want to. Like I left this at 3 a.m. and then you're like, all right, I guess I'll stop.
Yeah, that's me and Marvel Rivals right now.
Yeah, it was, yeah, oh, so many good games out there. But yeah,
They
so
are.
just the amount of time that we sink into the games is just I think it's this great economical kind of reason for it too. It's just like, oh yeah, I enjoy the games, but like look at how much money I'm saving by like not doing these other things that could be more expensive hobbies, and I enjoy it. Right. And so I love And so I would like to probe a little bit deeper if I may.
Go ahead.
So as far as like you gave some great reasons as far as like why we play games, because the usually the answer I get too is just the very simplistic answer. So you didn't give me the super simplistic one, which is why do we play games? Because they're fun. Well,
Okay.
like yeah,
I mean, you're right.
it's like yeah, it's like I get it. They're fun. Like yes, we play them.
That should be
And
the first
then
step, right? Anything should be fun. You
yeah,
enjoy it.
it should be fun and enjoyable. Otherwise, why are we here? Like what are we doing? And then I like to ask the question to go a little bit deeper. So, Ryan, if you're playing RPGs, if you're playing all these different games because they're fun, why are they fun?
It's an escape. It's escapism. I mean, quite honestly, like you're putting yourself in a different world. There's a story that you're invested in. I mean, or it's a gameplay that you're just attracted to. But there's a multitude of reasons why they're fun. But you're just immersed completely. Like I play fighting games. I love Mortal Kombat. I love the dynamics of it all. Like I love Street Fighter. I love how things turn so quickly. Why do I love games like Marvel Rivals? Because I feel like I embody the character now. So we're literally role playing. When it comes to RPGs, I love the stories. I love the characters. I love how you build characters. I love Baldur's Gate. To be honest with you, Baldur's Gate's probably taking about 400 hours of my time. And I feel it's like a drug because I kind of want to go back to it, but I know how deep that rabbit hole is once I touch it.
Yeah.
Because all I have to do is just play like the first 20 minutes and just creating characters. I know people just spend the first 20 hours of playing that game just creating new characters. And I'm like, oh, I feel like
Oh,
playing like make a Jean Grey or something synonymous and such. How do I make a Jean Grey character on Baldur's Gate? Because it's fun.
yeah.
Because I'm role playing, literally role playing.
Yes. I will. Yeah.
It livens my imagination. People think video games dampens the imagination, but I do think there's a lot of creative thinking you have to do with video games because there's mechanics, there's rules to abide by, and I think people just kind of overlook that. Like I admire Fortnite players. I'm not a good Fortnite player. The fact that they've made such critical thinking decisions right away and create different structures and then still play a first-person shooter, I can only do one or the other. I can't
Yeah.
do both.
There's so much you have to do. And so you touched on like I think a very core element of this podcast too, which is the skills that we're developing as we play games. So
Yeah.
I think the critical decision making is very key, right? It's especially any of these fast-paced games, especially like a battle royale or a shooter or anything like that. You're getting flooded with information so quickly, and you have to make split-second decisions, right? And it's hilarious to me to think about in like the esports arena kind of competition area where there's so many people on the outside looking in that they have no idea what's happening on the screen, right? So like you can watch like go to a stadium, watch like a football match. Like if you're watching football, you can like okay, so eventually you figure out the rules. You're like, okay, this is what's happening, and then you drop somebody into an esports arena and like back like the Overwatch League or something as an example. Like you drop in and watch people play, what is it, the 5-on-5 or 6v6 Overwatch, and there's just go, and then how many people even understand what the hell's happening if they're not already a gamer?
You could be a gamer still don't know what the hell is happening. I mean, I
Half
played
the
some of these
time.
games, and I'm like, guys, we gotta stay on point. Just stay on point. Like this is watch the base, and they were going out just trying to kill a deathmatch. I'm like, this is not the game, and we
Yeah.
lose. You win by
Yeah.
losing.
Not doing the objective aside, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Push the
No
payload. What
idea.
are you guys doing?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly right. But it's interesting how quick some of like those matches are as far as like even if you do the death matching, right? It's like there's so much you have to move around to shoot, to do the whatever. And then like the non-gamers especially, yeah, just the reactions of them just is what kind of tickles me just to be like they don't get it. They're like, there's so much happening. How do you keep track of this all? How do you make decisions at that point? And
But
it's
it's the same
like,
with any sport. It's just rules, regulations, it's practice. And at a certain point, it becomes second nature. You can watch football, and a lot of people don't know what they're doing. So they start drinking, just talking about football. So they
yeah,
enjoy being around the game, but not actually watching the game.
yeah, exactly right. So that brings like I think a core element of the kind of the community aspect of it too, because that's yeah, and one of the reasons we play games is also for that sense of community, whether it's playing
Yes.
online, hanging out with friends, or just simply talking about the games, right?
Yeah.
And tell me what you think as far as like, yeah, I love even the idea of single player games is a great way to build community. And you're like, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, or does it?
It does. And the
And,
reason I think
and
about
why
is
does it make
Baldur's
sense to
Gate.
you? Yeah,
Because I think about all my games and the perspective. That's why. Like any kind of story. When you think about Inception, there's 50 different interpretations of that ending. but
Mm.
it's a single player origin. We're all watching it the same thing, we're all playing the same thing, but we all have different opinions or perspectives of what we saw. And I think video games, especially single player video games, kind of provide that. And it also allows you, like, I hate this, like, it also allows you to like relive that moment. I remember Arkham Knight when it came out, or actually, sorry, Arkham City, and it was the Mr. Freeze battle, and how everybody had a different experience playing the same game because they were so masterful of programming that you couldn't use the same tactic twice. So I talked to my best friend about it and said, "Hey, when you shoot, the valve with the batarang, it freezes up." He said, "No, I didn't do that. I was over here. I just jumped on him and pummeled him, but he froze the ducks afterwards." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know you can get in the ducks during that time because he already did this." So like, just even though single player, we all had different experiences with the same game. So
That's
it's
yes,
very much allowed.
that's exactly it, and I love that you nailed that exactly. Is that we all have different experiences and different lenses or perspectives that we can
Yeah.
bring. So it could be literally it's the same game. Take the old like it's the same disc or it's the same cartridge,
Yep.
but we all play it very differently, and it's always fun to talk about that. And like even and one of the reasons I think like those like Twitch blew up and like the YouTube and everything, it's like watching people play games
It's cathartic.
is very cathartic, and it's because you get to also see just kind of how they experience things too, and you get to
Yes.
connect with the streamers that way too, to be like, hey, did you know about this? Or like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. Like it's just so I'll call it magical. Like it's just so interesting to see like how people think about things and how certain people just go way above and beyond or like go way like around and like very you're like that's a long-winded way of how you got there, but you got there. Okay, cool. Versus like I didn't even know you could do that. Like
Or how people craft their own single player experiences. Like, hey, I'm just going to play with this one character. You have a whole litany of characters to play with. So I'm going to play with the weakest character with the weakest weapons, and I'm going to make it super hard, and I'm going to make this my entire playthrough. And I love watching games like that because I can never fathom myself doing something that bold, but just watching that person just make things infinitely more harder for themselves just to see if they can.
yeah, exactly right. I love the experience in my personal way that I look at some of the games too. Is that like I've definitely done some ways where I like to like kind of the min max, like the power game it, right? To
Uh-huh.
see like, all right, how can I make my characters as like, absolutely game breaking as possible?
Yep.
And but at some point I also like kind of dialed it back a little bit to be like, okay, I still want to make sure that I'm as powerful as I can be, but I want to try to stay in the confines of like where I think the developers want me to go to like, all right, how do the developers, so like it's kind of a fun experience to be like, just for me to be like, all right, how do the developers intend for me to do this? And then when they do something, it's like, I think they want me to do this. And then if it's something like, I don't think I should be doing that, that's when I like break the game and just go off and do my own thing.
It reminds me of Final Fantasy X and very recently Expedition 33, like how you just can like craft the game to be unbreakable. I remember in Final Fantasy X, I crafted all my spellcasters to go beyond their level grid into the DPS players. And at that point, Lulu, who had a little doll, couldn't really do any damage. Now is one hitting everybody across their field, even the super bosses. Because I was just playing so much, I'm just getting, they're going across the entire map. And it was
Yes.
still fun, like but at a certain point, like when you beat the final boss, you're like, well, there's just a one hit now.
Yeah, that's what I did the same thing with Riku. I was like the
Yes.
whole mix thing. It's like, all right, well I can it's like I can do all these crazy things, but then I was just like, oh, I can just go through the whole grid. And yeah, and just like we said, like you can just one shot the final boss when you get to that point. You're just like, this is crazy.
It felt more cinematic, actually. I actually enjoyed it when you have to kill all your Aeons. And, usually that'd be a very tough battle, especially with the Magus sisters. Like, oh crap, my biggest summon. But at a certain point, I'm like, oh, done, 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 done. Like, this is now you really give a
Yeah.
farewell. Where it's like, if I didn't do that, like, what the heck? Like, this is a very long game. Could we stop right now? But no, it's like you're just saying goodbye to everybody. Now you're actually playing it as a movie.
Yeah, so you get to play to that experience. See, and
Yeah.
that's a different experience too, because that's what, like I think I powered up like a certain characters faster than others. So I had a point where like I made the summons harder than they should have been, where it's just like, oh yeah, you
Oh
did all
yeah.
this is like, oh yeah, she's really powerful. Like everybody else is like, uh-oh, like I gotta catch up to this. And it was like, oh wow, this is actually really hard now. Oh, but still just a fun, great experience, right?
It is. It really is.
That's fantastic. So just to kind of bring it back to as far as like the games that we enjoy, the games that we love, and the time we spent playing games, and just understanding that there is additional, benefits, right, that we're talking about. So like,
Yeah.
and not just like the like, oh, games are fun, games are an escapism, and games are economical because it's cheaper than some of the other, things that we spend money on and on other hobbies. But coming back to the skills around the gaming, so like what would you say? So critical thinking, but even the RPGs, like what would you say is like one of your biggest skills that you take into the hospitality industry that you learned
Oh,
from gaming?
strategy and planning. Like we were talking
Strategy and
about earlier
planning.
today about just picking your roster and being short staffed. And I compare it to XCOM. You have your perfect roster, and someone gets maimed or shot, or they're out of the rotation, and you have to build up new people. Uh, just that whole entire planning stage. I learned a lot from RPGs about entrepreneurship. There's basically like just building the right team, or even building the right experience to make sure you succeed, to make sure you have the right resources. I still, add to my day, I'm a hoarder because of RPGs. Like you have 99 potions. I'm always going to make sure there's something in my bag of tricks, because you never know when you're going to need it. Don't throw away that screw. You might come in handy later. And before you know it, like someone falls out and you have a screw for it, like a dad. But it's not because I'm a dad, it's because I'm a gamer.
Because you're a gamer. I love that. That's a great realization. I didn't even think about that myself. It's like, wow, one of the reasons I probably save a lot of stuff is because I also enjoy RPGs. So that's wow, what a great realization on this podcast today. This is super fun.
That's
Great.
why I love Expedition 33, because I think they knew that, but it was gamers playing their game, and they give you a limited amount of potions to carry, and you can replenish it whenever you want. Say, hey guys, use them, because next time you save, it's going to be replenished. You're like, oh, I don't have to hold
Ah,
that potion and die, even though it's going to save my life. I might just die and just restart the game because I don't want to lose a potion. Let me
yeah.
just restock when I go to the save point.
Which I got to tell you a very silly story about that. So not Expedition 33. So I think Final Fantasy 4 on the Super Nintendo.
Uh,
So I had one of
Pain,
my
Sweet
brothers
Soul
was
Rosa.
yeah, it was Rosa, and so we were doing final boss. I was able to beat it, and I didn't use like hardly any items, even though it was the
That's
final
Golbez,
boss. And it was
right?
like, huh?
Was Golbez the final boss of Final Fantasy 4?
And then the surprise boss at the end,
Yes.
Zumurus. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're fighting. So yeah, spoilers. No,
Sorry.
30-year-old game. Uh,
Wait for the remake.
so okay, so I fought it and I made it harder on myself than I needed it to because like I still like was stingy on my items because as a kid I was like just hoarding all the items and it's
Yeah.
just like so and I let my brother play and because he wasn't able to like get through the game as quick or whatever but like so he was just like hey can I beat it for on your save so I was like okay so I let him use my save and he went and beat the final boss and to make sure that he could kill the boss, he started popping elixirs like every other turn to make sure that he was like at full up, topped up. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, what are you talking about? It doesn't save afterwards. It's like you
It's
don't
just
lose
done.
anything. And I was just like, oh my God, he's right. Like I've been
That's the
hoarding these
ultimate
items so long
nonstop.
and not even using. I'm like, what am I doing? And I got so mad at him for using items that ultimately didn't matter because it didn't save the point, right? There
But
was
it's
no
resource
post game at
management.
that point.
You both had different strengths for it. Like he recognized when to use the resources. You also recognize when to store the resources. And
Exactly.
you also need that entrepreneurship. You need people who know how to allocate the how to allocate the resources that are garnered, and other people who can make sure we have them available, like a CFO and a chief marketing officer, or the CEO and a good finance team. So I mean, you two, that was pretty smart.
Yeah, so I learned certain, even back then, right? So, yeah, through video games about just
Yeah,
resource allocations, like when to use items, when to hold items, like this it's just it's these little things that you don't realize that you're building these kind of skills as you play.
you really are.
So yeah, so as we wind down this particular episode of the podcast, I just want to thank you so much, Ryan. This has been fantastic and just so much fun to connect with, especially other RPG fans, other gamers, and especially those that are a big fan of RPGs and Final Fantasy, because I know that's why like just connecting so quick and so well with you. I just love it. So, Ryan, so we've heard a little bit about what you do, but I guess how can people get in contact with you or connect with you?
Best way to reach out to me is probably through Instagram, maybe Salter, not Pepper. That's my handle. Last name Salter. But if you're interested, if you're ever in the Midwest or particularly in Detroit, check out my two restaurants. Come to Breadless, Breadless. We have multiple locations, as I said before, in Detroit and Rochester Hills, and also at your favorite sports arena. Or come to Salt and Co. SALT +KO. And if you're ever curious about either place online, you can go to www.eatbreathless.com or www.saltandko.com. And I'd love to talk to you about video games. Just stop by.
There you go. Absolutely love it. And guys, we'll have those links for you guys in the description as well. So check those out. And so check out Ryan and everything he's doing. Fantastic stuff. So Ryan, thank you so much for being on this podcast today. This has been so much fun.
Thank you for having me. I really do enjoy talking to other gamers. It's a fun topic.
Absolutely. And before we let you go, we do have one final question, which I think I know, but for I ask every guest on the show, which is the last question: what is your favorite video game?
That is hard now. That is very hard because I've grown so much. But I think I'm gonna make some fans upset and make other fans happy. It has to be Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going for the nostalgia because if you replay it now, it sucks. I hate to say that, sorry guys, but it is horrible, especially Legend of Dragoon. Like I tried replaying that and it's just so bad, but my memory of it is just being
I was gonna
perfect.
say my memory of Legend of Dragoon is really good, but
You know,
yeah,
I'm gonna take it back. One guy I would replay even to this day, Legend of Gaia.
ah, okay, yep.
Yes. I wish they would remake that. But I can still replay that to this day. It may be slow as hell, but it was an amazing game, amazing story, and a great difficulty spike.
That's a good, yeah. That, oh man, I haven't played that one in a long time. So
And
that's
it's nowhere online. Like you can't find. There's no
you
remaster
just
for it.
can't find it. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, that's a great one because yeah, I've definitely heard the Final Fantasy VII. That's yeah, and that's a popular choice too. So
of
like
course.
I love the pivot to that one too, the Legend of the Guy. Yes, absolutely. And I was gonna say being a Square Enix fan, yeah, SquareSoft fan back in the day, right? So
Yes. Well, Xenogears, I'm still mad at them about that. They should have done a better job in controlling
oh,
things.
same. I was like, oh, Xenogears was so good. But if I had to pick one, and for those that have listened, know my absolute favorite game of all time is Chrono Trigger.
You can't beat that. That's honestly stood the test of time. No pun intended.
Irony. Absolutely love Chrono Trigger. And
How
yeah.
you feel about Chrono Cross then?
Oh, my opinion on Chrono Cross?
Yes.
Uh, I'm one of the people. Don't even look at me with that Chrono Cross.
See?
I don't want no part of that. I'm like, As soon as Chrono Cross came out, I'm like, what is this garbage? Like on its own, it's I could go on a whole tirade.
I figured when you said Chrono Trigger, I knew most people who love Chrono Trigger do not love Chrono Cross.
It's true, and it's to me, it was the fact that you put Chrono in the name, but it has nothing to do with time travel. It was
Yes.
alternate universe. It was not time travel.
It's
I'm like,
not
no, no,
time.
no.
Well, time and space. This one did space versus time.
Yeah. So I was like, come on, you really we're gonna do this? Like, come on. So that one got me. I was like, no, this is not. No, give me my Chrono Trigger back. So I don't know that it'd ever do it, but like I would love a Chrono Trigger remake too.
I feel like they would, and there's so many interpretations they can go about. They can do like the Sandlot. Was it Sandlot? Is that the new game that just came out? With Akira Toriyama, his last game. They can do like more cell shaded style. I can see them going that
Yeah.
out. Like the Wind Waker. I think that's the only way you can really do it. You can't do it as a hyper realism, but keep it
No, I don't
more.
think Chrono Trigger would work well with the hyperrealism. Or you can go like the was it the HD 2D,
Yes.
like the Octopath
Oh,
Traveler or the Dragon Quest remake?
oh, they could honestly. But I feel like if you're gonna do a remake for that one, you have to really do it. But if they want to just get it out in the next 2 years, I think the HD 2D would be great.
Yeah.
Or
That's
like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, like even that style. So you get the animation.
yeah, that's I played that one too. Yeah, that was a great game too. I
It
enjoyed that one.
was.
Good. I don't know. We can keep talking all day,
Yes.
but we'll go ahead and call it here. But gosh, thank you so much, Ryan. This has been so much fun. Thank you for being on the podcast. And guys, remember if you're interested to see how you can use your gaming skills to level up your life, earn the impact and the income that you're looking for, definitely check me out, dragonmorexp.com. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, stay awesome. And I'll see you in the next one.